Before sunrise, a family is already shaping wet clay and stacking raw bricks by hand. Every 1,000 bricks earns them a few dollars after deductions, and an advance loan taken months ago still controls where they live. Across 30,000 kilns in Pakistan, the equation is identical. Output never catches up to debt. This is not one bad employer. It is a production model held together by 4 mechanisms that make leaving more expensive than staying. Brickmaking in Pakistan's kilns runs through 6 tightly sequenced stages, each designed to maximize output and bind every family member to a daily target. The process begins before dawn with clay extraction. Men and older boys dig low-lying earth, measured not by their own judgment, but by the owner's quota, 2 cubic meters for every 1,000 bricks. The pace is relentless, set by the needs of the next team waiting for material. Once the clay is dug, it is mixed with water in large troughs. Mixing is done by hand or with wooden paddles, demanding constant effort for up to 45 minutes to reach the right texture. Water, often hauled from distant pumps, can slow everything down. Any delay here means fewer bricks, less pay, and more debt. Molding comes next. Women and children press the wet clay into wooden forms, knock the bricks free, and line them up on open ground. A skilled worker can mold up to 40 bricks a minute, but the quota is collective. A family of 5 is expected to turn out 1,200 to 1,500 bricks a day. Every extra hand boosts output, but deductions for advances and breakage keep net earnings low. Bricks dry in the open, stacked to catch the breeze. Summer heat cures them in 3 days. Monsoon rains can stretch drying to a week, forcing families to turn and restack bricks repeatedly. Delays here mean missed targets and penalties. Once dry, bricks are loaded into the kiln for firing. Workers, including children, haul stacks to the kiln, where temperatures reach 1,150 degrees Celsius. The kiln burns for 7 to 10 days without pause. Burns and heat exhaustion are common, but only output matters. After firing, bricks cool for up to 2 days before unloading. Only bricks that survive without cracks count toward the quota. Damaged bricks mean deductions, tightening the cycle of labor and debt. Ledger books are the operating system of the brick kiln. Every family's debt, output, and deductions are recorded by hand, in columns only the owner or jamadar can interpret. The advance, peshgi, typically ranges from 2,500 rupees to 5,000 rupees at the start, but the number is just an entry point. Each new cash request, whether for school fees or medical costs, is added as a separate line, compounding the balance. The ledger aggregates the entire family's output, so individual effort disappears into the household total. Production is measured in bricks, but repayment is measured in rupees, calculated at a rate set by the owner and adjusted without notice. Deductions are the main lever. The jamadar, acting as supervisor, takes a 5 to 10% commission from gross output before any payment reaches the worker. Damage fees are added for broken bricks or tools, often weeks after the incident. These retroactive entries inflate the outstanding balance, making repayment a moving target. A typical ledger might show a family producing 30,000 bricks over a month, but after commissions, damage fees, and tool charges, the net deduction can reach 85% of the original advance on an annualized basis. Case files from Punjab and Sindh show effective interest rates between 70 and 95%, far above any formal credit market. No receipts are issued. Workers cannot verify balances or contest new charges. When a family requests to see the ledger, they are shown only the latest total, not the breakdown. The owner can cross out a previous entry and rewrite the balance at will. In practice, this means the debt rarely shrinks, even as output continues. The ledger becomes a tool for extracting more labor. Every deduction, every commission, and every retroactive fee converts hours worked into extended dependency. As long as the balance remains, the family cannot leave. For the owner, The handwritten ledger is both contract and enforcement. For the worker, it is a closed system where production and debt are fused, and the only way out is to produce more bricks. Never enough to break free, always enough to keep the kiln running. Every stage of brick production is calibrated to extract maximum output from the entire household. The division of labor is not incidental, it is engineered for efficiency under debt. Men are assigned the heaviest tasks, excavating clay, hauling water, and loading bricks into the kiln. Women are pressed into continuous molding and stacking, their output measured against the same piece rate as men. Children, some as young as 8, are integrated for their dexterity and ability to handle repetitive, lighter loads. 1/3 of all kiln workers are children, a figure that is not an outlier, but a calculated resource allocation. The system absorbs every available hand because each member's productivity is essential to meet the daily quota and service the outstanding advance. The health costs are embedded in the workflow. Occupational surveys show that 75% of kiln workers report chronic respiratory symptoms, cough, wheeze, and shortness of breath, linked to constant exposure to clay dust and coal smoke. Nearly half suffer from persistent back pain, a direct result of repetitive lifting, bending, and squatting over bricks. During peak summer, yard temperatures reach 45 degrees Celsius, pushing the limits of human endurance. The heat is not just an environmental hazard, it is a production variable. High temperatures accelerate drying, but also trigger heat exhaustion and dehydration, reducing the family's ability to sustain output. These hazards are not externalities. They are integral to the economic model. When a worker falls ill or is injured, output drops, deductions accumulate, and the family's net earnings decline. Medical costs are added to the ledger as new advances, compounding the original debt. In June 2022, during a documented heat wave, kiln owners cut daily quotas to prevent collapse, but kept deduction rates unchanged. The result was a 30% drop in net cash, with no offset for rising health costs. The system's logic is clear. Every reduction in labor capacity, whether from injury, illness, or exhaustion, translates into deeper dependency. The only available response is to mobilize more family labor to fill the gap. In this model, health risk is not a side effect. It is a mechanism for reinforcing the production cycle and extending the debt horizon. A typical kiln household takes in about 18,000 rupees per month in gross earnings. This figure includes every brick pressed, stacked, and fired across the family's daily quota. Before any cash reaches the worker, deductions are imposed, including Jamadar commission, fuel share, tool fees, and penalties for breakage. The average net payout drops to 14,400 rupees. Debt repayment comes next. Repayment rates vary, but most ledgers show 3,000 to 5,000 rupees deducted monthly against the peshgi advance. That leaves 9,400 to 11,400 rupees for all household expenses. Monthly costs for food, fuel, rent, medical needs, and school fees total about 11,900 rupees. The result is an automatic shortfall between 500 and 2,000 rupees every month. This gap is not an aberration, it is the default outcome recorded across household budget studies. Any deficit is immediately added as a new advance, inflating the principal and restarting the deduction cycle. Alternative work offers no clear relief. Agricultural day labor pays 7,200 rupees per month, less than even the lowest kiln net. Construction labor at 10,800 rupees edges closer, but still falls short of breaking the debt loop once deductions and the peshgi are factored in. The difference is not just in cash flow, but in the structure of risk, because agriculture is seasonal and unpredictable, construction work is irregular, and neither provides the bundled housing or advances that the kiln system supplies. Kiln labor offers immediate liquidity at the cost of permanent dependency. Formal banking is absent for 71% of rural households. Without accounts or collateral, kiln workers cannot access loans, consolidate debt, or build savings. All transactions remain in cash, recorded only in the owner's ledger. No external audit is possible. The system's logic is arithmetic, because as long as net earnings cannot cover basic expenses and repayment, the only available response is to borrow again. The production model is built to absorb every rupee of output and every hour of labor, ensuring that the cost of leaving always exceeds the cost of staying. This is not a labor shortage solved by debt. It is a production system that works because debt makes leaving more expensive than staying. Debt, cash dependence, and piece rate quotas remain the system's architecture. As construction demand sustains these economics, families supply output, not mobility. Here, labor is collateral, and repayment is a moving target. The mechanism persists because, for millions, the cost of escape still outweighs the price of staying.